Once people have established their identities, they are ready to make commitments to one or more other individuals. They become capable of intimacy, that is, they form close reciprocal bonds with others, for example through marriage, other intimate relationships, or close friendships, and are willing to make sacrifices and compromises that such relationships require. When people cannot form intimate relationships, perhaps because of their reluctance or inability to forego satisfaction of their own needs, a sense of isolation may result.
And I consider about 10 people very close to me, like my mom, like basically my family and my close friends here and my boyfriend.
I'm also 21 and I have about 6 or 7, my mom and my close friends and my boyfriend.
I feel like I probably have at least like 8 to 10 like really close people in my life.
I consider a lot of people in my life close to me. My parents definitely. I have no brothers and sisters, but I have a girlfriend who's very close to me. I have a very close friend group of like about 15 guys.
I consider myself to be close to probably like 6 or 7 people.
All of these relationships, from my mom to my siblings, my close friends to my boyfriend, they've all helped me just feel a sense of security, and I really feel like they've all helped me shape to be the best person I can possibly be.
Even just the little lessons that you learn. If you offend someone, you learn that social kind of rule.
I think that they make me a better person and happier all around. Without them, I kind of would probably be lost. It's kind of those people who get you through life and get you through hard times.
After doing our research, we have come to find that the 3 theorists that connect to the psychological theory of intimacy versus isolation are Erik Erikson, Lev Vygotsky, and Carol Gilligan.
Erik Erikson developed the psychological theory, which consists of 8 developmental stages beginning from infancy until the retirement years, and discusses age-related challenges throughout a person's life. He stated, "The youth who is not sure of his or her identity shies away from interpersonal intimacy and can become, as an adult, isolated or lacking in spontaneity, warmth, or the real exchange of fellowship in a relationship with others. But the surer the person becomes of their self, the more intimacy is sought in the form of friendship, leadership, love, and inspiration."
Intimacy versus isolation. Now, presumably you're saying then, as the individual grows beyond his beginnings of dealing with the identity problem, then he now can move beyond that to this matter of intimacy versus isolation, meaning in a sense relationships with others. Isn't this what you're suggesting then?
Chris, I mean much more. I mean intimate relationships.
Intimate relationships, that's what I mean.
By that I mean friendship,
Yes.
love, sexual intimacy, marriage, and I mean psychologically even a little more than that, and which one really can understand only if one has dealt psychiatrically with disturbances of this. Namely, that intimacy is really the ability to fuse your identity with somebody else's, without fear that you're going to lose something yourself. That's why it is the stage which makes marriage possible, and why marriage doesn't work if that has not developed.
Lev Vygotsky was in agreement and would support Erik Erikson's view on this specific stage of this theory. He believes that parental and adult guidance and support promotes healthy development in children. Therefore, he would agree that close relationships, especially with adults who are supportive of the child, could help children reach their ultimate potential. In relation to Erik Erikson, having a person to rely on could prevent a child from feeling isolated and will contribute to more than just their cognitive abilities. Carol Gilligan felt that Erikson's studies were extremely biased to only middle-aged white men. Unlike Erikson's 8 stages, she had only 3. Her stages were selfishness, a social conventional morality, and finally a principled morality. Her studies have been found to show that girls and women are successful when they have close relationships with people they can take care of.
In terms of development for young adults in this stage, physically, if people don't achieve intimacy and become isolated, then their mental health can affect their physical development because without close relationships, they will have higher levels of anxiety and depression, which could take a toll on their overall health. If people do achieve intimacy, their self-confidence is enhanced, which in turn means that they will be happier and take better care of themselves and their body. This is because physical health will become more of a priority. Also, with close intimacy, sex is a given in a good relationship, which leads to physical activity and pleasure. Socially and emotionally, if people don't achieve intimacy and become isolated, then this will lead to having less close friendships with peers. This feeling of isolation and being alone can lead to anxiety and depression, which then causes a lack of motivation. This also leads to low self-esteem and worth because they feel like they cannot get close to anyone. If people do achieve intimacy, this means that they are able to form close relationships with peers, family, and significant others. They will have the feeling of love from and towards others in their life, which in turn leads to happiness. If people do not have these close relationships, it will lead to isolation. Cognitively speaking, if people don't have intimacy or a close relationship with someone, it will appear that the prefrontal cortex isn't as developed and would not indicate a good rationale or positive outlook on perceiving others. If people do achieve intimacy, this typically means they have more serotonin, which can mean more attentiveness and motivation, as well as better performance in classroom settings, work settings, etc.
Have you ever been in love, and how did you know?
Really?
I have been in love 2 times in my life, and I think that I knew this because I was constantly thinking about the person and they were constantly thinking about me. We were able to be like your actual true self. Like, I feel like I've never really been like more myself besides being with this person. And so I feel like that's how I knew that I was in love, because I could just be 100% me.
Yes, I've been in love before. I'm currently in love. I have a boyfriend. He is my best friend, and that he's just like, we're really comfortable around each other, and I had never felt that way around a guy before.
Much like her, I am also have been in love, and I just feel really comfortable around him as well, and he makes me feel very confident about myself.
I've been in love. I've been in love twice. It only took a couple months, and I knew when we were laying on the concrete after a concert, and I just literally looked at him, and I don't know, I can't tell you, I knew we were having a conversation. I don't even know what it was about, but I looked at him and I knew. So.
In love. I've definitely been in love. After a little bit of time, it's just, one day I honestly woke up and knew. It was just the girl I was in love with. I saw her one day, and she always did stuff that always made me smile, obviously. But just one day, I knew, and it was just unmistakable from that point on. It was actually to the point where I wanted to say it, and if I felt like it was a little bit too early to be feeling that, I knew what I felt, but I was so embarrassed about it that I actually didn't even say it for at least a week or so, like when I really knew. It's unmistakable for me. Yeah, I definitely have been in love.
I am pretty scared of commitment at this time just because I'm still in college, and after graduation I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, so I'm scared to be committed to someone and not really have my life figured out.
Yeah, I'm like really afraid of commitment, especially since like recently I went through a breakup that wasn't my choice, and it basically, and this is depressing, but it like shattered my heart, and I think that it will be a while till I find someone that I really want to commit to, and I won't be afraid. So I think it will take a while for me to not be afraid of commitment.
To be really intimate, you have to be able to have a very firm identity already.
All you need is love, love, love is all you need.